Hey, this is Amy with Flower Moxie, and I'm doing an unboxing of our ready-made red bouquet. This one's called Red Siren, and I am in love. So we've got large, medium, and small, and they just came in, so they're looking very tired. I love this farm. They come from Ecuador. So some of our ready-mades come from Colombia, some of them come from Ecuador. I've visited both farms, and I absolutely adore the people and their practices. And they grow such beautiful things, and I wish I could live there all year. Okay, so when you get this in, it's going to look tired. Don't let that scare you, because what you're seeing right here is what you're seeing in the photos, because we're gonna do the photo shoot in 2 days. So it's Tuesday for a Thursday photo shoot. So I've got these hydration vases. You can get something like this at the dollar store or Walmart for a couple dollars a piece. This is optional, but I'm adding a little bit of flower food. Whoa. My little dog is inspecting the flower boxes right now. I'm adding a little bit of flower food because I want to give it some sugar, let them wake up. So see how tired this is? And in the photo, you might see some red anemones, but I've had them sub them out for these dark purple midnight callas. So sometimes I prefer not to have anemones shipped with these. Just because they're kind of a fussy flower, and if I can avoid that, that would be great. And I think the callas work great for the mood. Okay, so we are going to actually, I had a little bit too much water in there. I don't like to have the water full because that just, I think, can get the stems maybe a little bit too waterlogged and soggy. So I'm gonna put them in the hydration vase and let them perk up, and I'm gonna flare them out a little bit because I want these roses to start to open. And just know that if you have guard petals, that's completely acceptable. So I've got an ugly guard petal on this red rose, but that's not a problem. When I go to finish off this design, I'm gonna pluck it off. So just because these are ready-made doesn't mean that they're shipped without the guard petals. You want the guard petals on it through shipping to protect the rose, because those can always be plucked off. So I've got some beautiful red ranunculus in here, and I'm reaching in and I'm just kind of pulling them up a little bit because they're very tight, they're very fresh, and I want them to blow out. The great thing about these ready-made bouquets is the work is already done for you. And you can customize these. Sorry, let's kick him out of the recording studio. Smithers is in fine form today. Smithers, go on in there. You gotta be forceful with them. They will not. So all the work is done for you, and I had them make these bouquets more monochromatic. That way, if you wanted to add like your own special flower to it, you could. Like, you could easily take these, pull in quicksand if you wanted to lighten it. You can bring in burgundy carnations. So even though these are ready-made, trimmed, and ready to go, you can always backfill, but 75% of the work would be done for you. All you would be doing is grabbing this and then adding a few selected flowers. So I highly recommend these. They cost as much or the same as if you were to start from scratch. And like I said, the work is already done. Now, sometimes you'll have like maybe a few substitutions, but it's not very common because this is all grown at the same farm. And so it's not like at wholesale when they weren't able to get something in, because the farm knows what they grow and they're very consistent with it. So yeah, these are looking awesome. So this would be great for a centerpiece, bridal, and then the bridesmaid. So in the shoot, you're gonna see that we shoot them as they come, and then I also have picked flowers that would be nice to backfill with, because I know how my couples are, you know, like You might want to customize it. There might be this one flower that you're really obsessed with and you're like, well, that ready-made bouquet doesn't come with that flower. It's not a big deal. You can easily add it and it doesn't take that much work. I give this analogy a lot. I like to sew, but I don't like to sew from scratch. Like I don't like to get the yards of fabric and the pattern. I like to go to a thrift store, find like a larger dress or something like that, and then cut it up and customize it to how I like it. So it will take me maybe a few hours to do that, where it would take me days to make something from scratch. And so I think that's kind of similar with these ready-mades. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna give this a day to fluff up and to start to open and to rehydrate. By tomorrow, this is already beautiful as it is, considering that it's been shipped for 3 days. But within a day or two, this is gonna look incredible. And once I add a few of like my favorites in here, they'll be perfect.
So this is how this one came. This is called Red Siren. It's got lots of really nice shades of red, some deeper burgundies in here as well. But we got these in yesterday, and this is exactly how this came. So if you like this, this is your vibe, you'd be ready to go, wrap this with ribbon, and that's pretty much zero design work that you have to do. A dream. But I'm gonna show you how you can customize these. So I'm gonna be playing off of the red tones. I really just wanna kind of beef this up, add some of my favorite flowers, red ranunculus, burgundy carnation for some more depth. But I wanted to show you how you could add some other color stories to this to make it your own, a little more customizable. So I've got these beautiful quicksand roses. These came in extra light this week. You never know what you're gonna get with quicksand, but these are definitely on the beige side. So if I were to add these, you can see here how it totally changes the look of this bouquet. If you wanted to lighten it up, add some contrast, this would be a great option for you. And I've also got some really lovely amnesia roses. I think these would play really well off of these midnight purple calla lilies. I can show you what those would look like and how quick it is to add flowers to these bouquets. It's really amazing. So you can see there the amnesia, and that would just kind of lean more into those purple tones. All right. So one really cool thing about these bouquets, they are already in a spiral formation, which you know, spiral bouquet is our favorite method here. It works every time. So when I'm adding these stems, I'm gonna keep that in mind. I've already got my spiral going, so I'm gonna add these in to the bouquet with spiral placements. So this would be a bridal bouquet, a large bouquet. This runs, I believe, $75 to $90, which is honestly incredible for an already made bouquet. So they come in pretty round. I like my bridal bouquets to be more layered and flat on the back, and that way, you know, once the bride is carrying those, she knows to hold it against her body or laying it, you know, between photographs or the reception. The bouquet is going to get laid down so many times. So it's nice to have a flat surface where the bouquet can sit without damaging anything. All right, I'm going to start adding these burgundy carnations. You can see I add these at an angle. I kind of just weave these through the bouquet, and I'm trying to stick with that spiral. And right now I'm just pulling up these back flowers to really give me that flat back that I'm looking for. Another really positive good thing about that is that all of your flowers are then facing forward. So your pictures will be great and everybody can ooh and ah over your bouquet. Okay, I also have a mirror over here that I'm going to be checking. And already I can see we have a lot of green space right here. So we're going to add one of our carnations down low. The farm that grows or that sells these bouquets, they grow all of these flowers. And one of the coolest flowers they have are these kind of crazy ranunculus. They're like multicolored, variegated, and ruffly. That's pretty much always in these pre-made bouquets. It makes it extra special because I rarely see those like at the wholesaler or in a grocery store. All right, at this point I've added 5 carnations. I'm gonna save my last one for last just to make sure there's no holes I need to fill in. And I'm gonna come in with my smaller flowers, these red ranunculus, kind of get some depth and dimension, have these poking out a little bit. And then from there, I can adjust the rest of the bouquet. I think another really cool thing about this bouquet is you see it and you think that's a red bouquet through and through, but what we have here are a few fuchsia colored flowers mixed with that really dark purple burgundy, and that keeps it from being totally one-dimensional, a red blob. So don't be afraid to add colors similar, maybe complementary colors or adjacent colors. I'm not really sure on color wheel. But if you're using red, you want to use some burgundy, some dark purple, even some lean into the pink a little bit. And that just gives you way more interest to look at, but also helps those red flowers to pop. And just a reminder to you and to me as I design, I tend to get a tighter grip on the stems because they're growing, you're adding more. So every few minutes or every few placements, just kind of loosen your hand to make sure that you're not creating just a really tight ball of flowers. Helps you to keep that loose shape. Okay, I would not say I'm OCD, but I do tend to leave one of each stem that I'm working with until the end. And then I check my placements, see where there's holes, and then I'll add those last. So I've got 1 ranunculus and 1 carnation left. I'm gonna look in the mirror and adjust things pretty much to where I want them to be, and then I can add extra stems if I need them. Got this one piece of greenery that's just like staring at me. That was in the original pre-made bouquet spiral, but I'm gonna take it out and move it to a place where it's not so front and center so I can have a nice flower there. Okay, so I see a hole for my last placement here at the bottom. I could put this carnation here, but I see that I already have a carnation right next to it, and I want to avoid the very front center of the bouquet having 2 carnations staring right at me. So I'm gonna actually adjust one of the rose placements that was in the pre-made already. I'm gonna add it to the bottom for more of a focal point, and then I'll simply replace where that placement was with this extra carnation I had. I have one very curvy ranunculus who is not bending to my will, so I'm going to move it. There may be a place for it, but I'm kind of tired of fighting with it, so I'm just gonna take it out of the picture. Let's see if I even need it. One thing that Amy has taught me, if a flower is just not working and you're fighting with it, take it out. There's no need to keep fighting with it. You probably won't even miss it. Maybe that's just for my sanity, but I think it's a great design tip as well. All right, I'm gonna try to put it here. If I don't like it, it's okay. Just really want to use it. Okay, so I think that is good. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these stems, put a zip tie on it, and then I can adjust a little further from there. When I add the zip tie, I'm doing it very loosely so that I can still adjust stems, and I also don't want to add too much pressure to these ranunculus or really any of the stems. Okay, so I'm gonna loop that. Now I just want to kind of loosen it up from where I was holding it so tightly. Okay, one more check in the mirror. I can see some things shifted a bit, so I'll just move those around. Okay, and there we go. This was the Red Siren pre-made bouquet. All I did was add a few stems. It was good to go to begin with, but I did, of course, want to customize it and also show you how quick and easy that is. So if you're interested in DIY, but cut the time in half, honestly, probably cut your money in half, or at least cut it back a lot, this is the way to go. I cannot recommend pre-made bouquets enough, and I will be using these myself. But yeah, let me know what you think. This is the Red Siren pre-made bouquet.